Welcome back to Reliving Retro. This is Season 2, Episode 8. It was a Patreon episode. And I want to thank Jack for submitting this game. We do have a very special guest on with us today, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll allow you to introduce yourself. Go ahead.
So I go by GamerAhmer. My real name's Brandie. Ahmer is my last name, so it just made sense. That's what everyone calls me. So pretty much I also do YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much any social media. And I mostly kind of take everyone along with me on my collecting journey, where I just try and grow my video game collection, my toy collection, kind of relive those childhood moments that I had, try and just go for the rare stuff now, like store displays, kiosks, neon signs, standees, a little bit of everything. And now I'm on some artwork and prototype stuff. So it's just all over the place. But I just absolutely love everything related to the 80s and 90s mostly, and especially video games. That is my passion and something that I just really enjoy doing in my spare time. So that's kind of how I'm here.
Yeah, it's amazing. She has an amazing collection. It's honestly one of the best collections I've ever seen on YouTube, TikTok, whatever platform. So definitely go over to her YouTube and her TikTok to check out all the amazing stuff she has. Couple of getting to know you questions here. Your introduction to gaming, basically, like what was your first console? How'd you get it? How did you get into gaming in general?
So I have like two little stories here. So my very first console is going to be something different than what I first played. So of course, back in the day, I didn't grow up with tons of money and things like that. So I went over my cousin's house a lot. And because they had multiple kids in the household, their parents decided to get them a Nintendo Entertainment System. So, of course, anytime that we went over there, we would play, Mario Brothers. We'd play Super Mario Brothers 3. So, I mean, we would just be playing all the Mario games. And then, of course, the Super Nintendo, and we'd be playing Super Mario. So I just remember those days of going over there. We'd be playing outside, come inside, and the game would still actually be on because you didn't want to lose your progress. Right. So I grew up with Mario and playing, the Nintendo Entertainment System is my first. And then my first actual home console was a gift for every holiday. My parents would get me and siblings and stuff gifts and presents. And then, of course, birthdays, you'd usually get some money, and that's another time that you would kind of get some games or systems. Right. So my very first home console was the Jungle Green Donkey Kong version of the Nintendo 64. Cool. So that one is my childhood system that I actually have in my collection to this day. And it's just something that I'm really proud of, and something that I actually kept over the years, and something that I did not sell as it was packed away. But all of the other systems I pretty much sold throughout the years to kind of upgrade my systems or get something different or for college or something like that. Yeah. And then, of course, now I'm rebuying everything all over again.
The good old GameStop, give us your old games for the new console thing. Yeah, we've all been there. And we all, I think safe to say we all regret it. It's one of those things that we're like, oh man, I can't believe I gave away like the PS1, all those crazy good RPGs and stuff like that for the PS2. And now those PS1 RPGs are like hundreds of dollars, and you can find a PS2 for $20 somewhere. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Give it a GameStop for 15 cents.
Yeah, right. It's pretty rough. What would you say your favorite types of games to play now are, like your favorite genres?
So as we get older and we don't have a lot of time, right. I just know me particularly, only because I'm out there hunting for stuff. I do work full time. I do all these different social medias, and I'm trying to reorganize, the rooms. I'm kind of tapped out in this house, but over the weekend, my new goal is this setup right here is actually going in the closet. I'm taking the doors off, and I'm adding 3 more bookshelves in this room. So that is another challenge that I'm going to do, but just to get more room for, upcoming things. So essentially what I like playing now is like those quick pace games. So I've always been a fighting game person. I've always loved Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, literally any type of, fast-paced fighting game. You could just pick it up on the go. I love a lot of the retro systems and the older stuff. So some of those systems I'm playing games for like the first time, or the first time in 20 years. I'm playing some of these games over again. But I love a little bit of everything, racing games. I actually really like this game that we're talking about. And just a little bit of everything. I'll play anything, shoot 'em ups.
Cool.
I do like a good story, but I need, a vacation or something to kind of dive into that.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite I guess your favorite fighting franchise? Would that be like Street Fighter, or are you like Soul Calibur, any of those?
I'd say Mortal Kombat is my number one.
Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
that makes sense. What's your favorite Mortal Kombat game? Is it number 2?
I do like to.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of everybody's favorite. It's like the Mario 3, right? Like you can't really go wrong saying that that's your favorite Mario title.
Yeah,
Or like,
more characters.
Yeah.
It's a timeless classic.
now, how did you feel about the ones for PS2? They're not fighting games, but like Shaolin Monks. Like, how did you like those?
Yeah.
Deadly Alliance.
I like the ones on the PlayStation 2 a lot too.
Yeah, I thought that they were really fun. Like a nice little twist on those games.
Yeah,
it was cool to see those characters do something a little different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you own a Neo Geo?
Yes.
Oh man, I can imagine like the fighting games on that system are probably insane.
And some are very expensive. I was just in my game store and I was a little tempted to buy it. They've had quite a few fighting games for a very long time, and then they even had, I think it was Metal Slug 3, and they've had it for a few $1,000s now, and they were willing to like go down to like I think 1,600 or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh. But obviously I didn't get that right now. But
well, I'm sure you have enough stuff that you could just kind of, if you really wanted it that badly, you could trade it in and not really feel that big of a, an impact from it.
Yeah, I do get attached though. I don't like getting rid of things unless I have duplicates.
Now, you said you have some kiosks?
Yes.
What kiosks do you own?
I have like 20 some different ones. I have some notable ones. I have 2 Dreamcast kiosks.
Oh, the Dreamcast ones are awesome. What the one it's like black and orange and has like the built-in like TV like right above the Dreamcast console?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Wow.
I have a GameCube one and I have the Dome one.
Nice.
I think mine is red. Like it lights up red around the dome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I do have that one. I have a tabletop of the N64.
Okay. How's that work?
Which one?
The tabletop for the N64? What's that look like?
So they have like a stand with it usually, but this would have been one that just literally sits on top of like a counter. So that you would be able to play that.
Yeah.
Usually they have like the bars that are like, like crossed on it, like as the big, huge base.
Right.
But because that's so massive and tall, it usually doesn't fit in people's house or basement. So a lot of the times, if it wasn't a tabletop version one, maybe that would have gotten, scrapped if someone absolutely wanted one of those in their house.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool.
I have like Game Boy Color, a couple different Game Boy Advance ones, a PS1, a couple original Xbox kiosks. The new stuff, I have PS4, which I was actually playing this game on that kiosk. I hooked up a PlayStation 2 because it was convenient.
That's funny.
So I was playing this game on the PlayStation 4 kiosk. I have a Switch, Xbox 360, Wii U. Some of the Kid Space ones, it's a separate company, and they made the kiosks for like McDonald's back in the day.
Yep.
So I have a couple different versions of those, not the McDonald's ones, but I do have a whole catalog that shows all of those off.
Wow.
That's cool. Have you ever seen the hospital ones?
I have a GameCube hospital one.
Nice. That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I've always wanted a Super Nintendo kiosk. I've always thought that would be awesome.
On my list.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if that didn't give you any indication to how insane her collection is, 100% go to her YouTube, go to her TikTok, check out all of her videos, and it's pretty amazing stuff. It's definitely a collection I'm pretty envious of, for sure.
I do appreciate it.
Of course. So like I said, this week we played a Patreon game. So normally when we pick a game, it's picked from a master list of games, which has a couple hundred games on it. And but every fourth week, so episodes 4, 8, and 12, we do a Patreon poll, and we pick from only the games suggested on our Patreon. And this one was suggested by Jack. So appreciate it, Jack. Thank you very much. And you can go support us on Patreon for $5 a month. You put a game on there, and yeah, that's basically how it works. If you want us to play your game quicker, that's basically the best way to do it, because like I said, the master list is huge. But other than that, if you don't want to support us on the Patreon, that's totally fine. And you want to have us submit a game to our master list, just comment it in the comments below, and we'll get to it eventually. But this week we played a PS2 game called Road Trip. Everywhere? Is that how it works? In the US, it's called Everywhere Road Trip, I guess.
Yeah.
And in the UK, it's called Road Trip Adventure.
There it is.
There it is. And at the top there, it's kind of hard to see, but it says Everywhere at the top of the license plate.
Yeah.
And in the UK version, it says Adventure at the bottom of the license plate. And that's how they changed that one up.
Yeah.
And then in Japan, it is called something completely different. It's a part of a four game series or something like that, and this is number 2. So that's how that works. How many hours did you play, Yaiser?
I think probably for maybe almost 5.
Yeah that's not too bad.
In one sitting?
What about you, Gamer?
I would say probably close to that as well. I also played this a long time ago in my younger years. And this was something that I almost didn't remember until I started playing it again. I knew it looked familiar, but then as I was playing it, and playing it now versus playing it then, I don't know if I played it right back then. So.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if I played it right this time. So I played this game for about 4 hours as well. And as far as did we beat the game, I don't think I even came close to it.
No.
And like I said, I'm assuming, if we all only played about 4 or 5 hours, that nobody really beat the game. However, the story to this game is a little interesting.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So you are cars. It's basically like Disney Cars.
Yeah.
Right? In the sense that you are a car, and the cars talk to each other and stuff like that. They don't have big eyes on their windshields, though, which is a little disappointing, but it's fine. I'll forgive it there. But in the story, it's like you basically just start out and the president's like, I'm sick of being president. Let's do something else in my life. And then he's like, look, we're going to have a tournament, essentially, and whoever can beat me at the end of the tournament in a race can be the new president. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
I guess so.
Yeah. So
in the world of cars, I guess.
Yeah, in the world of cars. So, Yaiser, I'm going to kick it over to you. What'd you give the story for this one?
I gave the story a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I thought it was pretty cool. I like the personification of like the cars themselves. And everybody, even like the cars you drive past, like on the road, if you bump into them, they got something to say about it. They got something to say to you. Like,
yeah.
And then the whole, did you guys grow your My Town at all?
I don't know what that is.
So there's a town called My City, I think it's called.
Okay.
And I guess if you talk to enough people, they will build stuff in My City if you talk to them. I didn't meet anybody who wanted to build stuff.
Okay.
And like you grow your own city and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. And as far as how far I got in this story, I got pretty close. I had one more race to do with my B license.
Oh, wow. So you made it past the C.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
I had my B license. I had one more race to do. I think I didn't get to the place, though. It's called Papaya Island or something like that. I didn't get there. I got to the snow place. That's as far as I got.
Yeah, I had a very, very hard time finding where I was supposed to go in this game. I did a lot of driving around and driving into buildings, and they're like, you have to find the mechanic's daughter. And I'm like, I don't
No.
they're all cars, so I don't know which one.
You don't have to do that at all.
Yeah, and so I'm just like driving around and trying to find where the next city is, and it's like, oh, sweet, a sign that says next city, and I'm driving for like, it felt like a half hour that I was driving for.
They're far away.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like they made these drives a tad too long. This doesn't really fit in the story too much, but I gave the story a 3 because I'm like, okay, the whole president thing is kind of interesting and at least tells you right off the bat what you're striving for, right?
Yeah.
And I did like the fact that like these are just cars like personified, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's it's different. It's way before cars happened, so I guess that's cool. It is before cars, right?
Yeah,
I think this game came out in like 2004. Cars was like 2007. Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know. There's a whole nother game before this, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because this is the second one. That's a good catch there, buddy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I gave the story a 3. What did you give it, guys? I forgot what you said.
3.5.
3.5. Okay. Ahmer?
I gave it a 4.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, maybe it's also too because I played it, back in the day as well. So this is something that really kind of sticks. And I just thought that they were very creative with this game. They took like a different approach than your typical racing game. They gave it a backstory. There was a lot of depth, and every character or car that you met had their own separate personality. Mm-hmm. They had different interests and things like that. I thought that they were pretty creative with it, and it held my attention. And then if I wanted to wander off, I could. And if I wanted to, find a peach, and bring someone a peach, or find the daughter, or do this or do that. It was, different little things. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. No, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yaiser, what did you give gameplay?
I gave gameplay, so I'm gonna pull DMC. Shout out DMC, and I'm gonna go with an uneven one, and I'm going 3.8 stars on gameplay.
Oh, 3.8. That's real fancy.
Because I feel like it's better than 3.5. I didn't want to give it 3.5, but I didn't quite want to go to 4 with it.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, probably my favorite racing game of all time is like Need for Speed Underground 2, and this is kind of just like a corny version of that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't hate. I didn't hate it, but like it's definitely not as cool. But I loved how many different car bodies you could choose from.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of variations.
There's a million.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Did you pick one? Did you pick a new one?
Yeah. So when I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I can make a new body, I picked the Supra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't remember what number that is in the game, but it looked like a Toyota Supra.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the numbers either. I was R33 Skyline.
Did you? I saw the Skyline and I was considering going with the Skyline.
Not the R34, but the R33. It's my favorite.
Ahmer, what did you give gameplay?
I gave it a 4.
Nice.
Cool.
Because I felt like I couldn't really compare it to other racing games in a sense where, if I played Need for Speed or something, like this is in its own separate category, just because this is way different than anything, like apples and oranges and, or peaches, for this game. But I just felt like it was, something that I couldn't compare to. And for what this was probably designed for, a lot of like younger folks and like children, I would say that this was a pretty good aspect. I mean, hey, years later they made the movie Cars, so I felt like this was a pretty good thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I agree. So here's where I fell, I guess, with gameplay. The actual part where you're playing the game, the racing part, I loved. I thought it was a ton of fun. The actual racing aspect, I thought the courses were cool. And I like the fact that there were so many cars in the race, and it's like, okay, you have to get to 6th at least to, kind of like place essentially. But I thought the races, were challenging. I thought they had good design. They were just fun to do, just in general. I like the idea of being able to upgrade not only your car, but the actual body of your car. I think that was really awesome.
Yeah. It took me a while, like, because I was wondering, like, when I got a new car. I'm like, how long am I stuck with this stupid thing for? Because I just never went into the body shop, I guess. Because, like, what am I gonna do? Put like a body kit on this stupid looking car? I don't want to do that.
So that's what I was just gonna say. Is probably one of my biggest nitpick, not the biggest because the biggest is coming, but I guess my second biggest nitpick with this game is that there's two separate places. There's one where there's like a shop or like the mechanic or whatever. You go there, parts store, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's where you change out the parts that you've purchased. You have to go to a different store to purchase the parts.
Oh, so it's like, okay. So you go to the parts store to get the parts.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's your garage. It's called something else. So
yeah, it's called something else. I can't remember what it is.
That's where you like save the game and all that.
Yeah, that's where you save the game. You can choose to race. You can choose to change your parts out. I thought that was a little annoying because I was like, at the beginning, I'm like, I have enough money to buy parts. I think I was like, because I had like $5,000 because I just kept doing the same races over and over again just to keep trying to get money.
Same.
And so I was just like, I definitely have enough money to upgrade, like I should anyway, because there's no way that I have to keep grinding like the same race over and over again to get money. And then there was no, like, it didn't say like how to buy the part, and I was like, am I stupid? Why can't I figure this out? And then eventually I found a place that said body, and I'm like, what does that mean? So I drove in there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, you buy the parts here. You're an idiot. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I was a little confused too when I first started because I did just keep playing the same races.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and I went in somewhere and I was like, where are the options?
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused, but then as I went to different places, I just must have wandered into the right places.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then my biggest gripe with this game is just how not linear it is. Right? Like
that's not your thing.
No, open world stuff is cool, I guess, in certain games, but like even like games that I feel like pull it off really well are like games like Grand Theft Auto, where like on the mini map it has like missions, and then it's very obvious when you do that mission, you go back to that guy, you do his next mission, whatever. That's the kind of like open world stuff that I like. But in this one, it was like I couldn't even make the map larger, right? Could anybody else?
I can figure that out.
There was a map screen, but it was just like a topographical like satellite image of like there was no roads or anything on it. It was very weird.
Yeah, so I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to get from one city to the next without literally driving on every road possible to find a sign that said next city.
Yeah.
And when I was driving around, I feel like a lot of the environment looks similar, so I couldn't figure out. I'm like, have I been to that next city before? Because I don't want to drive 30 minutes to there and find out I've already been there before. I will say though, something that makes this game a lot better is the fact that they have fast travel once you've been to a city. That's a very, very good I guess feature to this game. But the fact that you have to take like 20 minutes to drive there anyway. I mean, and obviously I'm exaggerating when I'm saying it's 20 minutes, but
might have been a couple minutes, but it was a long time.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes.
It seems like forever when you're driving.
Did you get any billboard stuff from any companies?
Yeah.
So there you go. You're getting paid to drive, you know?
Yeah, it's true. You do get paid per mile to drive, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if I ever got paid because I wandered into a second billboard place before I ever returned to the first one. And I don't know.
You can still go back.
Oh, can you? Okay.
If you switch your billboard, you can still go back and they'll pay you for what you did.
Well, that guy owes me a lot of money then because I was driving forever.
And another thing I wanted to say about gameplay was I thought it was really cool. Two things, actually, that you could find teammates. Did you guys find any teammates?
I did find a teammate. Yes. I ran into, actually, I didn't run into him at all. I was just sitting in the middle of the road because I was trying to look up where I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And then the dude hit me from behind and he goes, "Hey, I want to be on your team." And I'm like, dope.
All right, cool.
You can be on my team. That's
that was another thing, like at your garage when you go to like parts change.
Yeah.
So you can give him all your leftover parts and whatever.
But, that's cool.
And you can even put a billboard on him too. But
nice.
In the races, they pay you twice. They pay you for
both
for your place and your teammates' place.
Oh yeah,
which
that's cool.
I thought was really cool.
I didn't notice that I got paid twice. Once he joined my team, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know if I said my score yet, but I gave it a 3 because I had it at 3.5, and then I had it at 3.5, like with the racing and stuff like that, and then I was like, you know what? I'm super annoyed that I can't figure out where I'm supposed to go. Like I just hate that it doesn't tell me exactly where it is. I mean, 3 is still higher than average, right? Average is 2.5 technically. So, I landed at a 3 there.
That's cool.
Ahmer, do you want to start it off with visuals? How'd you feel about the visuals for this game?
I thought overall they were pretty good. I just have like one little gripe about some of the visuals. I still feel like I rated that one a 4.
That's good.
I think I just really like this game. There's just one
too.
section of this that I really don't like. But as for the visuals, I feel like on the main areas, like the maps and everything, I liked it. I thought it was bright colors. It was like charming. They had like a lot going on. Now there's forever drives that we exaggerate of 30 minutes or more.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. It was just green and like trees, or it was just, like the
Just
same
desert.
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't put, a lot of time and effort into that. And I mean, that makes sense because back then, trying to do all this, stuff and certain things, you want to focus it in on the races or focus it in on the main, those main areas, the levels, the world or whatever you call it, those little sections. But overall, I liked it. I felt like it had like a charming feel. I thought it was very bright and vibrant in some of the places. It just had like that kind of nostalgia type of something to me. And I even like the cars, how they're like shrunken down like mini versions. They're just like these cute little poppy looking, cars. And that was just a cool thing. I like that.
Yeah, I actually I know I may have poo-pooed on the gameplay a little bit. But I gave visuals a 4. I was at a 4.5 until some of those long drives where I was just like, okay, they didn't really add a whole lot to the scenery here. And then I kind of downgraded it to a 4. I love the car models in this game.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I think they look great.
Yeah.
Like something about them, like it's like they almost look like they're like not cell shaded, but they almost look like they're like animated, like they're drawn instead of like computer animated almost. And I think it's just because of like the hard outlines they have with the black outlines or whatever, but they look so good. And when I was scrolling through all the bodies and I'm like, I can tell what cars those are. Like that's crazy. Like I could tell it was a Civic, I could tell it was a Supra. Like
I rocked that Civic hatchback for a little while.
Did you?
That EK hatch?
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I thought the visuals of this game were really, really well done.
Yeah,
sir.
I really enjoyed it too. Between like all the different areas, I thought like Peach Town and then what is it, like Mushroom Village or whatever, and then you get to the snowy place, and I didn't get to the island, but like I've seen screenshots that I think they must be there because I was never at that place, but that looks pretty cool too. And then how many fucking cars are there, dude?
A ton, right?
There's so many.
Is there like 50 different designs?
There's got to be more than that.
There's a ton.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, so I went 3.7. I'm still on that DMC thing.
Okay.
I didn't quite want to go to a 4 because it wasn't like, I don't know, mind-blowingly beautiful, but just because there's so many different car models and all the different like I said, all the different the zones and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought were really cool. So
yeah, I think that's really fair.
Where I'm at.
I will say I do think this game has way more car models than like Need for Speed does.
Definitely.
Right? Need for Speed maybe has like 20.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah. It's crazy just how many different models of car they have. I thought that was really impressive.
But they also have like 200 different wheels you can put on and like 8 different body kits on each car. And all that.
Yeah.
So it's a little more customizable, but
yeah, all the parts and everything. There has to be like a few hundred or more of everything that you can interchange out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess I'll kick off sound. And this is the one I had rated the lowest.
Yes.
Okay. Of course. Everybody else too?
Of course you did.
Thank God. I had it at a 2 and I felt like I was being pretty generous.
Okay.
Anybody else? Like, are we down there?
I'm around there. Yeah.
Okay. I had it at a 2. I think the radio station, there was 2. Was there like 2 radio stations?
2 radio stations.
Yeah.
Yes.
And both of them were not good.
You could say not good.
I felt like they weren't good.
I don't know. A couple of the songs on Peach Radio were a little catchy. I swear I woke up one morning with one of those songs stuck in my head.
Did you?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what it is now. You know how you wake up with just like a random shit in your head sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it was right
Sometimes
now,
it'll be a song that I haven't heard in months. And I'll just be like, why is that song in my head? It's weird. I gave it a 2. I was really close to giving it a 1.5, but I felt like actually like some of the car sound effects themselves were pretty decent. So that's what kept it from the 1 range for me. But As far as like music goes, and I mean that was pretty much it for me. It kind of, when I basically muted my TV when I was driving around the town, and then I would turn it back on when I raced.
Yeah.
But Yaiser, what about you?
Sorry, bad timing. I gave it 2.5.
Okay.
And I think I only gave it that extra half because I think I was at 2. Just because I woke up with that catchy song in my head. I was like, oh, it stuck with me. So
yeah, right.
I got to give it something. But apparently on like the Wikipedia, it says Peach Radio has 4 songs on it. 4 different
really?
songs.
4 of them.
I swear there's only 2. I don't give a shit what the internet says. There's fucking 2 songs and they're on repeat.
Well, that's how you felt about Crazy Taxi too when we played through that. I was like,
true.
oh yeah, there's like 7 songs in this game, and you were like, nope, only 2. I've only heard 2.
I love that game.
Oh yeah,
me too.
Yeah, it's great. We actually give it pretty good ratings.
Yeah, we did.
Ahmer, what about you for sound?
I gave it a 2.
Okay.
I felt like. So I also did a little bit of reading, and I haven't played the Japanese version, but I heard that one has better songs and more songs.
Oh.
So reading that, I don't know if there's any truth or not to it, but that's what I thought I saw. So if there was truth to that, I felt like we kind of got gypped.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I feel like in a way, it had to be low. There was only 4 songs on the one station. The other one had like instrumental stuff. I just felt like they could have did a little bit more. Now I get if there wasn't funding and this isn't like a major title or anything, but it had the potential to be better.
I mean, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
We had the same score. We were both at 2. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, I for sure think that this was again, I didn't think the gameplay was amazing, but sound for sure is something I always look at a game, and sound usually makes a game more memorable for me. So when it gets a bad rating, I'm kind of just like, oh man, I'm not feeling this sound at all. Like it's kind of draining a little bit, but I'll kick it off for aged.
All right.
Surprisingly enough, I feel like this game aged fairly well. I gave it a 3.5, and the sound was really the only like bad part of the game, other than the 35-minute drives. I'm gonna keep going up, I think, every time I say it. No, the long drives.
Drive.
Yeah, the long drives to cities was obviously my least favorite part about this game, but I will say it aged really well in the sense that it added fast travel. I think that's kind of before its time in that sense, and I think that the handling of the cars is very, very good. I expected this game to handle like crap because it looked like a little kid's, like guys were saying, it looked like a little kid version of Need for Speed. And I honestly think that from what I can remember off the top of my head, I feel like this game handled better than Need for Speed.
Yeah, definitely. Like your car didn't slide out. Like I was like after the first like couple races, I was really worried that this game was just going to be awful. But like as soon as you upgrade like your tires, like one time, and then it actually starts to feel like a real car.
Yeah, that's
what
I
even
did
like if you got your off-road tires and you're on the road, you like slide a little and you'll be able to like pull some drifts even. I thought the physics of the game were actually pretty good.
And I'll say too, just as a PS2 racing game that we've played on the show recently, this game handles a lot better than Stuntman, I thought, as well.
Yeah, probably.
So just comparing it to other games from that era, I feel like it stood out in the sense that it still, I guess, stands the test of time. And as far as controls and just like features that it implemented, as well as visuals, I think it looked, it was appetizing to look at, I guess, in that sense. It didn't turn me off at all visually. So
yeah.
Ahmer, where are you at for aged?
I also said a 4. I thought it aged pretty well because even when I was playing it now, I felt like when you go in and out of houses, I was expecting that load time to be like terribly long, but it's very quick. Like everything was pretty quick with it.
Yeah.
So I felt like nothing like turned me off, like as far as like the game, going through it. And I felt like I wanted to play more. Like I wanted to just keep going. And then I wanted to talk to more cars and to do some more side missions and the mini games. I really liked, some of those, even though they were real quick, but like, it just like, it kept my attention and I just wanted to keep going. So I thought that it was pretty cool. And I just felt like it does, it did age pretty well. Like, I felt like, you could play it as a kid, you could play it as an adult, and you may learn something different. It has different playability. You can go back and, learn that maybe you should have upgraded the tires as opposed to this. And then when it's on this type of terrain, or this type of race, or, it really like kind of hones you in on what you need to do. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think you bring up a really good point about the load times. That was something I did think of at the time and just kind of forgot to mention now. But even the load times into the races were very short. I remember specifically because I was eating pizza rolls while I was playing this game, and I was just like, I grabbed a couple of pizza rolls, and I was like, you know what? I was not ready for this race to start yet. So yeah, I remembered that the load times were pretty quick, way quicker than I anticipated them being. With a mouthful of pizza rolls.
Yeah.
So, Yaiser, what about you for aged?
I'm at 3.5 with you. But you brought up something, Ahmer, you did about gameplay that I meant to bring up was the mini games specifically, and they had a whole 9-hole golf course you could play.
They did
with your car. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
You had said that to me in text, and I'm like, where is this thing? And I wanted to find it on my own, which is why I didn't text you. Like, I never found it. I didn't know where it was.
They also had like a soccer mini game. It was like
like Rocket League.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I never got a third teammate, so I wasn't able to do it. But I was imagining it was probably something like Rocket League. But yeah, I thought that stuff was really cool. I'm gonna bump my gameplay up to an even 4.
Wow,
put that in there.
I'll put it in there.
But as far as age goes, I don't think graphically it was all that great, and those same stupid 2 songs over and over again really got to me. So I read that. That's really the only thing that it wasn't for. I don't care what you say or the internet says. So yeah, those are really the only things that are gonna keep it at 3.5. But I really did enjoy playing this game. It was a lot of fun. I might even play some more.
Cool.
Yeah.
So our final scores, I guess. I was technically the lowest on this game. I was at a 3.1 overall. Yaiser was in the middle at a 3.45, and then Ahmer was the highest at a 3.6. Honestly, all pretty good games all pretty good scores for a game I'd never heard of until last week.
Yeah.
Never heard of this game in my entire life. I thought so. I guess disclosure here. Our patron Jack is from the UK, so I thought
that this was why he called it adventure.
Yeah, I thought that this was only a UK game when he had put it into the Patreon, and I was just like, oh, this is going to be interesting because I've never played any import game before, and then I found out that no, it's the same. There's a different game, but it's the same game. It's just a different name. But yeah, so. Overall, I mean, pretty good ratings, like I said, for a game that I'd never heard of until last week.
Definitely.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to touch on for this game, or we pretty much did it, huh?
I think we did it.
All right, fair enough. Now's the part of the show where we randomize what we're going to be playing next week. So, Ahmer, I'm going to give you a quick heads up. After I tell you what the game is that we're playing next week, I'm going to ask you for a recommendation so that we can add to our master list. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'll give you about a minute or so to think of a game. Anything pre like Wii, Xbox 360, PS3 generation. So PS2 is the last gen.
All right, I think I have one.
All right, sweet.
Cool.
We're going to hit that randomizer right now. All right. Very interesting. This is the first time we've played a game on this console.
Ooh.
So new console.
Interesting.
End of season 2. First time we're getting a Sega Genesis game.
Wow.
Pretty surprising, I think.
Oh.
It's a puzzle game for the Sega Genesis released in 1994. I like being a little bit vague with the description to see if our guest can guess what game it is. Do you have any guesses, Ahmer?
That could be a variety.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yeah. the developer is Sega, so again, not giving away a ton here. It is Columns 3.
Okay.
And I do remember playing Columns with the 6-pack. For those that aren't aware, the Sega Genesis, I believe in its later years, came with a cartridge called the 6-pack, and it had Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Columns 3, Road Rash, and there's more. I can't remember what they are, but there's a couple more on there, I promise you. But yeah, Columns was one of the games on there, and I remember playing that a bunch as a kid. So I'm pretty excited to play this. It's also our first puzzle game.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Bejeweled in that aspect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks similar to that.
Yeah, something like that.
Can I play it on my phone?
Probably. It's
Cool.
probably a phone game.
Cool.
You should be able to emulate that on your phone.
Awesome.
Sometimes we like to emulate on our phones if it's convenient. We played Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses on our phone.
That's the game I played the most that we've.
Well, yeah, because you had COVID that week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you didn't really have a lot of other stuff to do.
Well, I don't know. I might have played Fable more.
Oh, it's true. You did.
Fuck out of Fable.
Yeah, you did play Fable quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ahmer, have you ever played Columns? The Columns
I
series?
think when I was younger, I think you can play that multiplayer.
Yeah, it is a multiplayer game. Yep.
Oh.
But like more than, can you play it more than 2?
That much I don't know. Did they come out with a 4-player edition thing for the Genesis?
There should be. I have like a little thing, and then it has, I don't know what they call it, but it has extra little things on it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you probably can on that game. I think I remember that.
That's interesting.
But that could be a different game I'm thinking of. But that's something to maybe look into, because that might be something specific, or different about that game.
Yeah, I mean, if we can play multiplayer, maybe we do that for the playthrough. Maybe we play against each other, or if it's like a team thing, who knows? We'll figure it out.
You want to
we'll
get wrecked, dude? Let's do it.
I'm not gonna get wrecked, bro. It's like a puzzle game. I'm good at puzzle games.
Okay.
All right. Whatever. Anyway, Ahmer, do you have a game for us to add to our master list?
So I don't know if it's already on your list, and I don't know if you guys already did this game. Okay. So it's a PlayStation 2 game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have, I think it's War of the Monsters?
War of the Monsters. I do not have that on there.
I don't know what that is.
It's something that I discovered, and I thought it was really cool. But you have to be into that type of
Is it a fighting game? I don't think I've ever played it.
So it's like a bunch of monsters, and it kind of has this B-movie style related to it.
Yeah.
It's really something that's worth checking out. I think the price has definitely went up on the game.
Okay.
But it has a different feel to it, and it's one of those people refer to it, I guess, as a hidden gem, but still a lot of people still don't know that it's a hidden gem. So I would say do that one, because when I got it, I was recommended from a buddy of mine, and then I actually started playing it, and it was fun.
That's cool.
Cool.
Real quick, would you? I guess I'll shoot this question to Ahmer first. Would you recommend this game to a friend if somebody was like, "Hey, I've never played Everywhere Road Trip before. Should I go out and pick it up and play it?"
I would recommend it. And I just bought it, and I think I paid $20 for it. I have seen it go a little higher than that, than the closer to $30 range. But there are deals, and I feel like this is a game that you could potentially find on the cheaper side, even less than the $20 if you wait. And that's complete, pristine, very clean copy with the manual and everything. That's mostly how I try and collect my disc-based games. But I'm sure that you could find a disc only cheaper. You could go ahead and emulate it, or whatever you prefer. But I would recommend it. I thought it was a fun time.
Yeah.
If you just want to have a light and airy, bright, vibrant colors, kind of a cool little vibe to it, I think it would be a fun little game to play.
Yeah, fair enough. Yaiser, would you recommend that somebody relive this game?
I I think so. I think so. Yes. I don't know if I would have paid for it.
No.
In hindsight, I don't think I'd pay $20 for it.
Yeah.
But if you have the means to emulate it, like it was fun. Just to see how many goddamn cars they have in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Just emulate just to look at them all.
I think I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a game that you need to go back and play.
Right.
Like if somebody's like name a list of like 20 PS2 games that I have to check out, I don't think this is making the list.
Mm-mm.
But I will say I can totally understand how somebody could have like nostalgia based around this game if they played it as a kid, or even if they just played it now for the first time. I could definitely get how you would enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed the time that I played it for the most part.
Same.
Like I said, it was just those 19-hour drives that I didn't, love. But the actual like racing and stuff I thought was really good, and probably one of the better racing games I've played for the PS2.
Yeah. What was your favorite race course?
I think probably the Ninja one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, I like that
driving,
one a lot.
Through all the buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. However, there
cool.
was one glitch during that where when you go up the stairs, you kind of get stuck on the roof for a second, and then you fall down.
Yeah.
So I kept braking like as I was going up the stairs just to be slow, because then I realized that all the other cars were also suffering from that same glitch.
Yeah, I don't know if that was an emulator thing or like.
Yeah, I don't know
the
either.
Physics on jumping was like way off.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Like sometimes we play games we've never played before through an emulator, and we have no idea if this glitch is just an emulator glitch or, you know what I mean? Because like Stuntman, for example, we couldn't even finish the game because the emulator, the ISOs are so messed up. But that doesn't happen in the actual game. And then what was the game we just played? Oh, SSX Tricky, where our guys kept disappearing. That doesn't happen in the real game. So I don't know. Some emulators are just trash, but whatever.
I guess so.
That's what you got to do. Sometimes you don't have all the games, and it's just like I can't buy a new game every single week. Oh, my GamerAhmer, you know what I'm saying? No, just kidding. I just don't have the funds to be able to pull that off.
No, I try and find the stuff
cheap, right?
Cheap. I would never generally pay $20 for a PlayStation 2 game. I got like the Silent Hill games in a big lot for like $5.
Garage sales and stuff, right?
I love that feeling. Like earlier today, I just picked up one of those old rocker chairs. They're like black, but it's one from I think like the late 80s. It says Nintendo on it. I'm still doing like research on it. I got it for $20. And like I know that I've seen them in the groups. Usually they have like on like it's like the weird ones that are kind of like a J.
Yeah.
And then the front of it has like where you would sit down, like where your feet would be. There's like a little bracket. Now this one doesn't have the bracket, but you would be able to hold your Nintendo controller on it if you had the bracket. So with the bracket, this is like a couple $100 chair. Without it, it still sells for over $100 and some. And like I found it for $20 right down the street.
Yeah.
So like there are deals out there, and you can find games and you can find lots. You just have to beat a lot of the resellers. And that's pretty large, I guess, in my area. Everyone is an expert reseller. Everyone is in it just for the money, not for the passion or the collecting aspect. And I mean, I've sold some things too. If I find duplicates, cheap enough, why not?
For sure.
But generally, I'm not out there all the time, just trying to buy stuff just to resell. It's mostly to like fund all this stuff in my collection. And
so that's what I basically do now. It's like I go out to garage sales and stuff like that, and when I find stuff that I'm like, oh, I could probably resell this, sometimes I'm doing that just to get money, and sometimes I'm doing that because to buy something that I actually want. You know what I mean? To fund I don't do complete collections anymore like I used to. I just, number one, I don't have the space for it, and number two, I know it's a pipe dream. You know what I mean? Like I could get like 90% of a collection or of like a library, and then there's always going to be like the sculptor's cut that I don't want to pay $1,300 for, or you know what I mean? There's going to be like Rule of Rose and stuff like that for like PS2 and like Quan, and like I'm not going to go out and pay like hundreds of dollars for those games. And yes, you could find them and that'd be awesome, but you know, like I'm never gonna find a stadium events. I'm never gonna find a gold NWC cart, like that kind of stuff. Unfortunately,
You never know.
True, you never know. And if I did find it, I'm gonna sell it.
Probably resell it, right?
Yeah, it's like 40 grand or something like that now, probably. I don't know. I think last time one of those sold was like $20-something thousand or something like that. So
wild.
Yeah, I mean,
I have that weird thing where like I get attached to things, like more so recent. I have like 2 quick things that I got way too cheap. One was the Mike Tyson's Punch Out video games cardboard display standee.
That thing's awesome. Yep.
It's like 5'9" out of the box, but I saw it listed on Facebook Marketplace for $70.
Yeah.
And I drove two and some hours away and messaged the guy like, "Hey, can you please mark this sold? I'm driving to you. I can give you extra money."
Yeah.
I get there and I did not have $70. I had, 20s. And I tried to give him a couple $100 for it, and he said no. So I gave him $80. I bring it back home and realize it's still sealed. It was never opened.
Oh.
And I posted it in the groups, and I got offered close to $10,000 for it.
Holy.
But I don't know if I want to sell it because it's like the only one that's sealed out there.
But sell it and just get one that's open, right?
Yeah, but I haven't seen one pop up.
That's
because I'd love to display it. I don't want like a big, it's like huge, cardboard box.
Yeah.
But and then another one was a World of Nintendo fiber optic sign. So they're the ones that light up and they have that little speckled effect to them.
Those are so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually at Too Many Games in Pennsylvania, and one of my contacts messaged me and said, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" And I was like, "You're messing with me," because like I barely knew the guy. I didn't really know. So I leave the convention early, book it to his house. It's sitting on top of a burn barrel in his front yard. He has it like plugged in. And I'm like, what? Like he doesn't know. And he's like, I don't know really what it's worth. I don't really care. I got it for free. Do you want it for $100? I was like, no. Like, let me give you some more money. So I gave him quite a few hundred more for it. But that goes for like $6,000.
Oh,
yeah. You're a saint, because my financial limit. I'm very limited here in what I can do with my pockets. But it's like if I find a good deal, and that was their price, as long as they're happy, I'm like, I'm happy, you're happy, we're all happy. I will say though, there have been a couple of times where I'm like, that's too cheap. You know what I mean? But that was back when I was like actually like collecting. I wouldn't say I'm back into that phase of my life anymore. I would like to get back there where I have like try to get to complete collections and stuff like that. But I fear that this is going to be in 20 years when my children move out of my house.
Yeah,
that'll probably be the case. But yeah, thank you so much, Ahmer, for coming on. Everybody, please go check out her collection. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, just a couple of stories that she's told you here, it's proof enough that you need to go check it out. So thank you so much for coming on. Next week we will be playing Columns 3 for the Sega Genesis. I can't wait to play a Genesis game. We haven't played one yet. Ahmer, you want to just go ahead and tell them where they can find you again?
So just briefly, I just wanted to thank you guys for having me on here.
Of course.
I really do appreciate it. I did have a good time. I enjoyed actually playing games for once instead of like collecting. I find myself, falling into that pattern, and it's really nice to just kind of take a moment back and just like appreciate some of the things that I do have.
Yeah.
But pretty much I'm GamerAhmer on pretty much all social media. I do have some other names as well. I think they're like my gamer tags. So if you just search GamerAhmer, I should pop up. I'm on YouTube. I post weekly, a couple videos a week. I'm trying to get better at that to do even more. TikTok, I try to do daily. I just kind of started that and it took off a little bit. So
for sure.
I am pretty, motivated and excited for that. It seems to have, some good feedback. And then obviously Instagram, Facebook. I have, I'm in all the groups and everything on Facebook, and I'm always on social media. I have my phone with me all the time, so so here we are. But that's pretty much where you
Awesome.
can find me.
Very cool.
Well, yeah, thank you again. Like I said, we really appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate you playing Road Trip Adventure, Everywhere Road Trip, and whatever it's called in Japan.
Koro QHG 2.
What is it called?
Koro QHG 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's quite a catchy title.
I know, it's great.
All right, thank you again. And we will talk to you guys next week. Take care.
Peace.